Hello! Today I am welcoming you here in London, where I met, I can say that you're my friend already.
Yes, we're friends already.
Vincent Lyn, and he has so many quantities.
Thank you.
And faces, maybe, no?
Many faces, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's why I would like to ask you to introduce you yourself.
Okay,
please.
well, hello everybody. Here in London, as Akmarel said. My name is Vincent Lyn, though to many, I have too many titles to even mention, but Vincent Lyn is the best way, yes, I think. I grew up in this wonderful country. My mother's British, my father's Chinese, and I lived here until I was 16, and then my parents emigrated to the United States. But I have been returning to England many times. I mean, since I started my foundation, I've been here maybe 3-4 times a year. And of course, more recently, certainly since the situation and war that's going on in Russia-Ukraine, I've been coming to London quite often, and of course since the issues in the Middle East, speaking, interviewed on the BBC, speaking at the Houses of Parliament, House of Commons, about these situations, and of course about my ongoing initiatives that I'm doing with We Can Save Children. So.
Yeah, thank you.
No,
thank you.
My pleasure.
And also, I would like to introduce to show the
oh dear.
our audience the new book of yours. I'm especially very proud.
Of course, because Akmarel is in it. Akmarel I asked her to make a contribution.
Yeah.
She's an incredible journalist, incredible writer. Has so many invaluable thoughts, messages. So I wanted her to contribute a chapter, which she has in this book. And I know the title is certainly, you look at the title and it's depressing right from the start, but I recently spoke at the United Nations, and the first week of the 79th United Nations General Assembly, to the UN staff, and of course one lady that I know from France, she said, oh my God, she says, is there anything in the book that gives us hope and optimism? I said, yes, of course. I said, you know, the title throws you off. I said, but we do have to have some kind of silver lining, you know, some light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah.
So I'm very proud to be part of this book. Wow. Thank you so much to include it. And let me read the dedication because really I was very touched by it.
Oh, thank you. Thank
you. The book is dedicated to the relentless pursuit of an ideal, to the dreamers who envision a world free of the conflicts, the warriors who fight not for the dominance, but for the understanding, and for souls who strive for the harmony despite the constant presence of discord. May the dedication serve as a reminder that while peace may be unattainable, the journey towards it is a testament for our shared humanity.
Yes.
Sir Vincent Lyn.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your book. So let's...
and thank you for your contribution. But better still, thank you for our friendship.
Yes, I'm also very glad to know you and to see you here. And let's talk a little bit about your book, because there are a few chapters.
Yes.
Actually, I didn't have time
to read the whole thing. That's okay.
To read it yet,
no,
because
take your time.
yes, I just bought it few days ago, and you gave me this with your signature. Yes.
No, one has to kind of take some time to digest, because there's so much.
It's very deep.
It's deep,
It's deep,
and there's a lot of just parameters of the book, because we're talking about many global issues. So, and I try to cover a lot of them, not all, but certainly a lot. So it's something that one needs to take their time, read slowly, and digest it.
So what do you think the main reason for the wars? What is the reason? The main reason?
You mean wars in general, or the wars that are happening?
No, in general. In general.
As you know, and you know history very well. If we go back millennia, a few thousand years, we seem to, man, not woman, seems to be always in disharmony, in conflict. We can go back to Neanderthal man, when people were killing each other with human bones or bones of an animal, So many of us are in complete shock and overwhelmed with the situation that's going on right now, as we all should be, because the difference is between 2,000 years ago and the type of weapons that we have at our disposal at the press of one button will change humanity forever. So right now, I don't think I've ever been this feeling unsettled than ever before. And I think we're at a kind of, I don't know, I hope we're not at a point of no return, but we're certainly, I think, closer to a nuclear confrontation since maybe 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Anyway, I think when you see on the modern wars,
yes,
first of all they became contactless, mainly, as you said, because of the new type of weaponry. And also I think there are some people, adequate people, with the reasonable minds inside of any government, inside of any secret services, which can control these things. I don't know.
I
have
agree,
this trust.
but it doesn't seem to be happening at the moment, right? We don't. There must be, as you say, reasonably minded individuals that are sensible and that have intelligence and education to realize that we're going right now in the wrong direction. But where are they? How come they're not coming to the front and saying, look guys, stop this?
But how do you think, why nobody didn't press yet this red button?
Well, maybe we're not, thank goodness, otherwise we wouldn't have this conversation. Well, I don't think we're to that point yet where I believe if certain leaders are pushed with their back to the wall, that it's possible that they would. I believe Netanyahu definitely would. And if anyone has read about his, Samson doctrine, the feeling that whether another country has nuclear weapons or not, but if he feels let's say he was overwhelmed by Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthi, all at the same time, and one city was taken out, let's say, by conventional weapons, right? Haifa or Tel Aviv. I do believe he would be pushed to the point where he would respond using nuclear capability.
When we are talking about a special person as we can see, genocide in Gaza.
Yes, it's live streamed to the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the question I would like to ask you, please say your relations with UN and what do you think?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Why UN is
not doing anything?
Yes, not doing anything, and it's so helpless.
Exactly. It's frustrating. They must feel a sense of complete frustration and helplessness. I think in the past day or so, as you know, Secretary General Guterres is now not allowed to enter Israel, right?
Non grata.
Exactly. You would think they would be able to do something, but it always seems that the P5 or the permanent 5 members always seem to get to that point where even if 180 countries said stop, someone would veto it, and usually it's always 1 or 2 countries. Of course, it's always the US who seem to veto, especially with what's going on right now, and therefore nothing gets through, right? And I think at this point, the United Nations is completely impotent. There's no power at all. Yeah. And I've been asked this question numerous times in so many countries, and I don't know why I'm asked it. It's strange because maybe they associate me with the UN. I'm not quite sure necessarily why, but maybe it's because I'm coming from New York, maybe because I have spoken at the UN, maybe because I am involved with a number of numerous NGOs under the UN umbrella. So I'm always asked this question, why isn't the UN doing anything? Doesn't matter if I go to Syria, doesn't matter if I go to Ukraine, doesn't matter if I go to Lebanon. Why isn't the UN doing anything? And I'm like, why are you asking me this question? I don't know the answer.
It is written on your UK page.
Yes.
That you are a vice ambassador of human rights.
Okay, here we go. Yes, Deputy Ambassador, International Human Rights Commission. Now, everybody always assumes, as you have also, that it's the IHRC within the UN. And of course there is surely a Human Rights Commission with the United Nations. But there's also another one that nobody ever talks about, and that is the one at The Hague in the Netherlands, the one that brings, hopefully, individuals like Netanyahu and others, leaders of countries who've committed war crimes, to bring them to... Pardon?
Do you believe in that?
The last time it happened was Ceausescu. Yeah, sorry for my translation, but that was the last time he was brought to trial. And he was found guilty, and we know what happened, right? It was a long time ago. Yeah, but that was... How many years ago was that, right? That was the last time a leader...
In 90s.
During Bosnia, right? Yeah. And Srebrenica, right? That massacre. So that was the last time a president of a country that was found guilty and he was executed. Will it happen again? I hope. There are presently 300 international lawyers working on this to bring...
300?
300.
Lawyers, international.
Yeah.
Yes. I heard about it.
You heard about this?
Yes.
Yes, trying to bring Netanyahu to trial, to The Hague. Will it happen?
How many years they are working?
They might need to work 20 years for this.
Yeah.
Will it ever happen? Again, one can be hopeful. Do I have my doubts? Yes, of course. But one has to go through it, no matter what. You can't just...
But what makes me desperate in this case, that when war in Ukraine started...
3 years ago.
2 years ago.
No, 3 now. February
22, February 2022. Now we're like
23, 24, coming up on 3, yes?
okay,
Yeah. Okay.
okay. But Putin was found, like was accused to
Yes.
be a war criminal
Of course.
in March 2022.
Yes.
Already after 1 month.
1 month. Yes.
Since war started, and 2 years later, in February of this year, on the website of UN Human Rights Commission, there were both the numbers of the killed civilians.
Right.
So it was something 11,500 something people, and 19,000 something injured.
Right.
So like civil population.
In the first couple of months.
Population.
Yeah.
No, for 2 years.
That's impossible.
I also thought so,
Yeah, of
but
course. No
this
way.
is numbers of UN.
Of course,
Site.
the recent number, again by UN statistics, is that between war in Ukraine and the situation in Gaza and West Bank,
So this is what I.
168,000 dead. It's way higher than
What I wanted to say is that in Gaza, in 1 year, it like was killed
well, their numbers
just-
right now, 45,000.
45,000.
But we know
already.
that numbers, the Lancet estimated 180,000 at this moment,
and,
which is more realistic.
And what an international court is still
of course not.
like
You mean
working. So this is how we talked about it like last night. No, should be UN reformed.
Of course. Look, we know the history. We can go back 1947, right? And yes, the idea was great. After World War II, 80 million plus were killed worldwide. So the idea was we have to bring countries together for something. We can't let something like that ever happen again. So, and so the idea was good, but unfortunately, we keep saying never again, but how many times have we said never again? We've said it so many times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
just the big ones in general: Vietnam, Korea, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria. I mean, the list is.
A week ago, you spoke to security to the Security Council of UN Security Council. So, what you said about?
I read a small excerpt from here, from my book. From the epilogue, from the last page. Many nations there. Some people who I know, and as my colleagues know, I speak my mind. I don't hold back. The interesting thing that's happened now with the United Nations and other parts of the UN, UNRWA, which is United Nations Relief Work Agency, specifically set up in 1948 to deal with the Palestinian, refugee crisis that has been going on 70 plus years. Their hands are tied. They can't even say anything against it anymore. Not to change channels, but just recently coming back from Lebanon, a very close friend, colleague who was running the UNRWA Beirut office, who finally said, enough, I can no longer work in the office, so she's working remotely. She said, 10 years ago she felt like that they were making some kind of progress. But she says today, they can't even say anything against Israel or whatever, otherwise they're out. This is an organization that's set up specifically to help Palestinian refugees, in all throughout all the camps, all the 12 camps, 1.5 million people in Lebanon. But their hands are tied, they can't say anything, they can't say this, that. The same thing in the United Nations. It's really, it's just really insane that this is happening. So, me speaking with them, telling them about especially my recent visit to Lebanon and Syria, and basically it's not that long ago, but it's when one of the first leaders of Hezbollah was assassinated in Beirut. I was actually in the hotel about 1 kilometer away, so I heard the concussion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a big 16-floor hotel, like we're in this one. You could feel the hotel, you felt the shock wave, because it was 3 missiles fired from Israel. It took down a 10-story building, killed a few children.
It was about 80 tons.
Yeah,
the bomb was.
And initially they didn't find him because he was under the rubble, but it killed innocent children as well. So that was the beginning of what's playing out right now. It's people had a lot of questions for me. I really didn't want to speak too much on it. I wanted to allow people time to ask questions, having been there right in the beginning on the ground before everything now we're seeing it, second to second. But I must say, and a lot of people came up to me after, and also because I kind of snuck in, because inside the UN you're not allowed to wear a flag of another nation or of any nation.
Yes, I know.
This is one of the rules. Yeah. You could have a pin, right? But you can't wear, But
so you couldn't wear this Arafatka.
Kafia. Yeah.
We say in Russian Arafatka.
Yeah. Right, Arafat, yeah. But I have this T-shirt that I got in Jordan, of a Palestinian flag with the heart. I love Palestine, or Palestine, right? So I wear it under my jacket. So when I'm inside, of course, I'm sitting like this, with the jacket open. But yeah, many people came up to me and just said, "Wow, thank you," and they silently and quietly said, "We love your shirt." So there are many, behind the Palestinian cause and what's going on, but they cannot say a word. Not in public, certainly not inside the United Nations. So they will lose their job. And this is wrong. They don't have to go around, waving the flag like this, but still, they're now voiceless. So this, as you said, the whole system has to be reformed. It has to be.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So let's
take a break
for today. Take a break. Yes.
No, we're good. No.
And thank you for this conversation.
Oh, thank you,
Vincent. But we will continue.
Yes.
Hello, dear friends, again. Now we are continuing our conversation with Sir Vincent Lyn.
Thank you, Steve.
Actually, we didn't talk about your skills in martial arts.
Oh goodness! Why would we want to do that?
And you are acting.
Oh, do we have to? 90 seconds or less. Well, okay.
But you're acting with Jackie Chan.
I have, yes. I spent 10 years in Hong Kong during what is considered the golden age of Hong Kong cinema. So the period from 1985 until the changeover when Hong Kong went back to China in 1997. So there was a 10-year period that produced some of the most prolific Hong Kong films really in the history of Hong Kong cinema. And I was very fortunate. It was in many ways very surreal to work with all these incredible action stars. Of course, most famous is Jackie Chan, who I grew up on watching him on the cinema, and there I was in my 30s, doing all these crazy films. And so I had quite an extensive, prolific career doing action film, and starred in over 30 films there.
Wow.
But it was, I didn't go to university to study acting, I went and studied music. So I graduated Boston Conservatory.
And I know that you are writing music.
Yeah, piano and composition, but the reason getting into film was one of the reasons anyway, because I'd been studying martial arts since I was a very, very young boy.
How did it help you in your life? I mean,
in my life?
Yes, the philosophy of martial arts.
Well, it was actually both. I got music from my mother's side of the family. Her and her sister were child prodigies, and they had their own radio show on the BBC growing up. So I got music from my mother, but I got martial arts from my father's family, because we have a very famous family style of Chinese martial arts, Kung Fu, that dates back to the beginning of the Ming Dynasty, which is 1368. So it's been in the family, 20, 22, 23 generations. So because of that foundation and those skills, it was I would say, I don't want to say easy, but it certainly was a segue into doing Hong Kong film. It certainly helped, of course, because one needed to have a very strong martial arts foundation background. So that was the reason, But again, it was being in the right place at the right time, having obviously a little luck,
But in your relations with people, I guess you meet in your life like different type of the people.
Yeah, I have.
But how do martial arts help you to communicate, to deal with these people? Like this is interesting. Because I think these people who have this kind of skills, they can maybe read people easily.
Yes, I wouldn't say all, but certainly in speaking for myself, it certainly helped me throughout my life, and the combination of both arts, music, having both music and martial arts has been very beneficial. Obviously, martial arts has played not just from a external standpoint, but of course an internal standpoint, which is far more powerful, I should say, because the external, it's easy to hurt someone, right? I mean, this is an easy thing, but my uncle always said, if you have the ability to heal others through the study of Chinese medicine, but also internally to stay grounded, stay balanced, to heal yourself, because this is really important. In fact, much more important. If one is not balanced and grounded, then we tend to make we tend to have bad judgment call in making decisions, and we can see that with some of the leaders of these countries who are making decisions based purely on emotion, certainly not thinking with their intellect. And this is always the problem. When we're young, teenagers, testosterone, we think we can defeat everybody, we think we can rule the world. We always make decisions based on our emotional content, something that Bruce Lee said.
Yeah, but when the politicians still look like and act like and think like teenagers, it's very dangerous for the world.
Of course it is. You have to think with your intellect. and they're not doing this. It's all based on emotion. Yeah.
And another, like, I'm wondering, when I went to Syria first time, and when I saw all the destructions made there, and I met people, I talked to them. I also met many refugees in Turkey and Greece, and also listened their stories. It was very difficult for me. Like, my world became different.
Yes, no, for sure.
And it was very difficult for me, like, to digest all this information.
It's too much.
So how you cope with this? How you deal with this?
Good question.
Because it's really very stressful.
No, and
very
it's you have a feeling. I just came back from Syria. This is now the 4th time, and I have been all over the country. You know, from north to south, from the border of where Majd al-Sham is. So I've been on both sides of the border there, and on the Syrian side, it's not a place that they allow tourists to go. Not even Syrians are allowed to go to this place. And also, you know, from Damascus to Homs to Ghouta to Hama to Aleppo to Tartus to Palmyra. I mean, I've been all through this, Salamia. I mean, many places. So, and every time I go, it's just, number one, I'm captivated by the country, but the devastation and destruction of this once beautiful country, this civilization that, you know, has existed
for
the cradle of civilization. Exactly. And to see, I never obviously saw it before 2011. The first time I was there was 2019, and then pretty much, you know, every year. But to see a country that has basically been destroyed and flattened, 50% of it, and you can drive.
Kilometers and kilometers, and
you can drive exactly for miles and miles, kilometers and kilometers, and you just look from left to right, and just villages, towns. It looks like the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. So you ask, how does one deal with that? It's a tough question. I always, when I return, and it's the same thing when I visited in like Bucha and Irpin, you know, in Ukraine, right? Or the atrocities I've seen in South Sudan. I come home and I need time to decompress, and I can't be around anybody. It's like I can't deal with it, because what happens is, after witnessing these types of things, and then you hear in a kind of social circles, you'll hear someone complain that, oh man, I was waiting in line at the bank, and this morning I standing in the grocery line, and they didn't have what, and you're listening to these things, and it grinds in your brain, and you really want to scream at this person, you know. And so this is no good. So you kind of have. It takes me a few weeks to really decompress, and not be around anybody or in a kind of social kind of circle, you know. But I must say, does it get easier? Not really.
No, exactly.
No, it doesn't get easier.
With even with every time, maybe.
No, it doesn't get easy. You think it does, and you know. And I was visiting some families that I have become really good friends with in Shatila, in Beirut, Palestinian refugee camp. And no matter how many times I go to these places to sit in their Spartan dwelling, you know, and they're always welcoming me and wanting to feed me.
Yeah, exactly. This is
and
this
I'm like giving me food that, like, no, I can, no, you must eat with us. You must eat. And I'm like, I feel like I'm eating their food because they don't have the money to buy. And I just, oh my God, it's so difficult. It just makes you
Did you hear the story about the...
You're crying all the time,
Yeah,
you know, inside, and then when you finally get outside and you sit down, and of course it overwhelms you, and then of course just you cry like a newborn child, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, what I find for myself, I was always thinking that what can I do for these people? What can I do? How can I help? And then once I met a boy on the streets of Damascus. He was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
He doesn't have legs. So he was just begging on the streets. And he was so beautiful. And in his eyes, I saw such wisdom, and he was like, anyway, he was just like happy, you know. And this is what shocked me. Like he didn't felt like angry or desperate. He had such beautiful eyes. So I came back home. It was 2019, and it was pandemic and quarantine everywhere. And I was thinking all this time, what can I do for him? What can I do for him? Then I decided to just work and collect some money and to buy wheelchairs and to deliver it for the children who suffer from mine explosions.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And you know, and I went. I went during the pandemic, breaking all the borders. So with the help of the Ministry of Defense of Russia, actually, because I met some military men in Syria, Russian military men, of course. There wasn't any other way to deliver those wheelchairs, and also, of course, some medicine. And I took some things for the help. So, and I delivered some chairs to Damascus, Red Crescent Society. Yes, yeah. Red Crescent Society. Yeah. It's wonderful people are working there. It's just unbelievable what work they do. It's really incredible. And then to Aleppo and to Sweden.
To
Sweden, yes.
Yeah.
And then, but in Damascus, I asked the people from the Red Crescent, Syrian Arab Red Crescent, I asked them to keep one chair.
Okay.
And I wanted to find this boy, you know. And when I came back to Damascus, I went just to find that street where I met him. And I found him.
You found him, sure.
And I found him, yes. Right. We don't know what to do. But last year, when we went there with some representatives of Kazakhstani Muslim Ummah, and first of all, Kazakhstani people collected 100 tons of humanitarian aid for Syria after this earthquake of last year. So me and a group of the Muslims, Kazakh Muslims, we went to Syria, and we distributed this aid also in Latakia, in Damascus, and in Aleppo. So when we came to Damascus, some guys from the Russian embassy, they told me like, Akmaral, let's go, we want to show you something. And we want, I don't remember which areas, but they showed me the absolutely new, beautiful, all like glassed from the floor to the seal, glassed building. And when I entered inside, I was surprised, really surprised, because there was, they're small rooms by all these some kind of medical things to make this treatment for the injured people, and also there is a pool. There were a lot of children without their limbs, so without legs and without hands, but the doctors are working to provide them the bionic prostheses.
Prosthetics,
Prosthetics. You know, and the guy who was with me, he said like, Akmaral, I wanted just to show you your dream. This is your dream became true, and with the help of Russian army and with the help of the Russian Orthodox Church. So it's Russian Orthodox Church founded this, like they gave money and they support this rehabilitation center. And only in 1 year they, working, they provided 1,000 children with prosthetics. With prosthetics, you know. So why I'm telling you about this, because I know that you are working a lot also to help people, and you have your own foundation. So please share your experience with your work, this humanitarian work.
I started We Can Save Children 10 years ago. The war in Ukraine, that war stops immediately too. The U.S. has can make that decision. Someone could make that decision. Will they make that decision? No.
What is your prediction? So if, for example, Kamala Harris or Trump will win, maybe...
I don't think there's going to be... I don't think it will make a difference who gets in office. I will not vote for either of them. No.
As Fidel Castro said once, that
third party.
So like
I would vote for
two parties, two American parties. There are like two shoes of one same
one
person.
Foot. Yes, yeah.
One same person. So
you know, and I'm listening. I'm hearing both sides. A lot of people say, well, if Trump gets in, he's tough enough and that he will put an end to it and stop this foolishness, both in Europe and both in the Middle East. I don't know. I don't see that, but you know. But anyway, I don't think there's a difference between either of them in terms of the priorities with both conflicts, especially the one in the Middle East.
But America actually, as I read that they have the shortage of the weaponry already.
Well, yes, people forget about this, is that the amount of weapons that has been given to Ukraine and is given to Israel, they also have to resupply this and make them, right? And
but time is needed to make this.
Of course, lots of time and lots of manpower.
Yeah, and a lot of money.
And lots of money. So, and also, America cannot forget that they need their own supply just in case. So yeah, I'm sure the supplies must be running low. They have to be. They're giving it at such an exponential rate to Europe, to the Middle East. Supplies have to be running low for US's own security. This is going to have to stop at some point.
So where we are going if, like,
I don't think people realize that it doesn't just come off of a tree. You know, this stuff has to be made, and it takes time and manpower and money.
And money of taxpayers.
Of course, thank you very much.
How the people of United States reacts now? Like,
I don't.
Tell me. Like,
I don't think
just came from
sending. I know Biden just decided to send about 3,000-4,000 troops right to the Middle East, not on the ground, but U.S. taxpayers won't put up with that. If U.S. troops start coming home in body bags,
it will be finished.
They're not going to put up with this. No way. And that it's happening like right before an election in what, a month? This is like good timing on Netanyahu, I guess, but certainly not a good timing for the American public. Yeah. we don't want to see this. Yeah,
what
crazy.
can happen?
Yeah.
So, as we have same experience of the reaction of the people, how do you think? How we can change the conscience of the people? Because, for example, me, I feel like they are part of me. These children, these people of Syria, these people of Gaza, people of Ukraine, people of Afghanistan, people who are just ordinary civilians.
Of course.
Which suffer like incredibly from these wars. I feel them like a part of me. I feel their pain. How can we make other people to feel the same? How do you think? What we should do?
I think we're doing what we can to spread awareness and you know, it's it's such a difficult question to answer.
With mass media, maybe what we. Yeah, I know.
Media always spins it the wrong way anyway. I don't trust that at all anymore. I think, at least personally, this is one of the most frustrating things about it, is having to say no to someone that I cannot help you, which I have been in that position. It's an awful position.
This, like, absolutely...
True, and as you realize, especially if you see it for face value, we realize that it's never also been about the hostages. When was the last time you heard about the hostages? I don't remember.
A long time ago.
It's been a long time. Nothing. Not even 5 seconds mentioning the hostages. So, yeah, it's. I just.
But I think that what makes the situation worse, that also, like, we are speaking about the land. Of course, all the peoples since the beginning of the history are fighting for the land, for their land, or to occupy to take someone's land,
more land, somebody
and
else's
resources,
land.
and resources, of
always
course,
about this.
and women, people.
It's never about the people. We are
people just to have them like a slaves, or like
you and I. We are all expendable.
Workers.
We are all expendable.
But here in this case in Middle East now is also the religion is added, you know, and this religion is not like a face, only the face of the God, no, on God, but there is some fanatism. It's radicalism in its maximum level, extremism from the both sides. Because if you see these poor people of Palestine shouting Allahu Akbar while running under the bombs, you know, it's like you're like thinking, what is it? Where is Allah? And when you are listening Jewish people who believe, like, who say, like, it's land, it's promised us, like, by the God, by God, we are chosen people who should run this, like, live on this land, so it's ours only. When you see that, you're just listening, like, what?
Right.
What? Is it really worth to kill each other instead of live peacefully on the same land together? How it was, actually, we know from the history that before this idea of Zionist state was created, Jewish and Arabs and Christians, they lived in peace on this land, and of course, you remember the Umayyad church or Umayyad mosque in Damascus. Have you been there?
Yes, of course. I went there this time.
Yeah. Do you remember the head of the John Baptist is buried there, and Christians come. Christians can come easily and pray together with Muslims in mosque.
Well, you know the funny, interesting thing about the Umayyad Mosque, where John the Baptist crypt is, his shrine is there, is that John Paul II went to Damascus when he was when he was the Pope, and he actually requested that he be returned to Rome. But of course, the Syrians were not going to have anything to do with that. And he says, no, he will remain here, because of course most Muslims believe that Jesus will return to Damascus, as you know.
Yeah, and there is a minaret, one of minarets dedicated to Mary, Saint Mary, and one the second
they're right
one
next to each other. It's quite amazing.
To Jesus Christ, and they believe that he will come. And one of the men of the mosque, he told me that before the war we were changing the carpets every day. To keep them clean, but now of course we don't have money to buy. To do it. But we are vacuuming every day the carpet.
I've been in there 4 times now, and every time I return, I go there because it's just.
It's written in Quran even that the one the end of the time will come, that Muslims and Christians will unite in one prayer, and they will fight together. Like Antichrist.
Did you go to Malula?
Yeah, of course.
This 4 times, but this time I went to Malula. Wow, because this is where they
still they're praying on the Aramaic.
They still speak Aramaic. It's one of the only places in the world where they still speak the language of Jesus.
But how many? Do you remember the story when ISIS captured the monks
with the nuns?
Nuns. I was there, and one of the nuns, she gave me the cross, and I said like. I don't know if I can take it because, like, culturally, I am a Muslim. I am from Kazakhstan, and she said me like,
"Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Doesn't matter because I know I can see that you're traveling a lot by the dangerous path. So it will keep you safe. Please take it from me. It was.
Let's see. For me, I'll take them all. I'll take Jesus, Allah. Buddha,
me too, because in my house I have the statue of Buddha and Bible and Quran in the same shelf, and because the God is only one. Yes, I agree with you.
Even though my book Why Peace is unattainable, but at the same time we have the power to bring about peace. And we do, as much as it doesn't seem like there is, and it seems overwhelming for all of us, especially the ones who are on the ground and bombs are falling, but we have to figure a way
but we started about
to compromise and sit down and speak about it and stop all this madness.
It's admitted that world is changing, and
what a fool
and I will try to quote him that Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea trying to change it to the worst, and we should save this world. So it means to save
that mean?
Their world.
So what is Blinken saying? So we have to save the world from those 4 countries, China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran.
So what do you think?
I think it's and insane. If you just think of Russia and China together.
But it's happening already.
Well, it is.
It's happening already.
This is the problem,
even,
right?
And even if we will just read the statements for official government officials, just recently, China Minister of Foreign Affairs, if I'm not mistaken, he said that we will protect our Arab brothers. Can you imagine? Arab brothers, and Israel has to stop. And of course, Russia is a strategic partner and aligned with Iran.
Of course.
And the Secretary of Russian Security Council, ex-Minister of Defense Sergei Shoigu, he visited Iran a few times, just recently, and also. Okay, North Korea. We know everything about North Korea, but the president, he also made a statement recently that North Korea has had to develop its nuclear weapon capabilities because of the threat from United States. Right. So there are so many interesting statements. Also on Friday, tomorrow, Ayatollah Khamenei will make a prayer. He will participate he will be in mosque leading namaz, like the prayer. And someone says that he will say something because if you remember, before he said that, and he said that it's prohibited by Islam to develop a nuclear weapon because it can kill people. But someone says that tomorrow he will announce something different, that maybe Iran will announce that it's going to develop its nuclear capacities because of self-defense.
Right. Yeah. I write there's a chapter in my book about what they call, MAD, mutually assured destruction, which was the term used, or the reason why after the Cold War was the increase of nuclear weapons, both in Russia or USSR at the time and America.
USSR and Russia.
Yeah. The build-up of thousands of nuclear weapons was in a case of that we could destroy the world 100 times over. So if I have 5,000, you have 5,000, then nobody will use them because we know we could destroy each other and everyone else.
This is what was Putin's promotion since his famous Munich speech.
That kind of thinking has changed because at that time it was specifically Russia and America that had all the weapons. Now there are so many other players that do have nuclear weapons. North Korea, Pakistan, UK, France, Germany, India, right?
Yeah.
That any one of these...
Only Kazakhstan. Just...
Oh, Kazakhstan.
Yeah, we
you have?
Eliminated.
You eliminated, right.
We eliminated all nuclear...
So there's too many countries with these weapons. So of course it's understandable that Iran would want to develop the technology for this because they want to protect themselves.
They have all the conditions and all the capacities to do that.
I would go so far as to say maybe, who knows, maybe they already have it. I don't know. But
do you know, I believe that not, because there is this agency for nuclear, they check all these things, so I don't think that they will cheat, because...
but they certainly have the technology, of course.
Maybe, but with this so many sanctions imposed on Iran,
and there will be more now.
I don't think that they will risk. They could risk, but now time is changing, and the statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Iran from today, he says that according to the chapter 51. if I remember right, of UN chapter of 51, Iran has the right to defend itself.
But
so,
of course they do.
So, because Ismail Haniyeh was killed on the territory of Iran, and it was a clear violation of the sovereignty
of international
law and sovereignty of Iran. So North Korean president, he talks about self-defense. Iran's statement also about the self-defense. Russia changed its nuclear doctrine.
Right, just this week.
Do you remember?
Yes. Just this week.
Again about the self-defense. And China says that it will protect its Arab brothers, and if you will read all the statements about the recent, in November it was a meeting of the Communist Party of China. If you will read the documents, joint documents after that, it's all about a partnership and friendship with Russia.
All right.
So of course, these 4 countries with nuclear or who is going to obtain the nuclear weapon, they will unite. Also, BRICS summit
right.
is coming in October 22, 24, where they announced already that alternative financial system will be adopted by these countries. So, what are your opinion on that?
There's a lot happening this month. Oh boy! Hope we just get through it nice and.
Actually, we are witnessing historical changes, global changes, because already 150 countries announced that they are ready to join this alternative system, and around 50 countries agreed to not use dollar at all.
Right.
So you say that USA will never allow Israel to use nuclear. Now is the main issue, the main goal and aim, whatever you name it, to stop Israel. Because if we all will allow Israel to continue this actually Nazi, fascistic behavior, so the other countries will always think that if they are allowed, why not us?
Why not me? And why not me? Yeah.
Why not me? Any leader of any country which has disputes, like land disputes, or but this is the most important question we all have to answer. Stop Israel and solve this Israeli-Palestinian problem, conflict, and of course Palestinian state should be created.
The possibility of the creation of the concept of a two-state solution, right?
Yeah.
This has been back and forth for how long? Since Jimmy Carter, former president.
Since the creation of State of Israel, since 70,
They've been talking about
70 years ago.
I mean, but is it really realistic? I'm not sure. It certainly isn't at the moment. No way. We can debate this
endlessly,
and we're going to come back to the 0 point, as a friend of mine a good friend of mine in Syria says. We will return to the 0 point with having gone nowhere. So
yes, let's talk about the Arab world, which divided maybe more than South Global and South North. No, if Arab world
would
unite.
The problem is, they are very divided as well.
Yeah,
presently, very divided. This is not good. People complain about this all the time. Hey, why not? Why is not the? You're talking about how many? 2 billion Muslims, right, around the world. But the division it's immense. You would think they would all come together at this point, but still a big separation. Certainly certain countries, the rich Arab states, especially Saudi, everybody trying to stay away. Everyone's now up in arms with Jordan's decision, The King of Jordan spoke very firmly at the UN, but then look what he does,
Then Jordan intercepted Iran's
and I've always been a firm believer. I don't care what words spew out of your mouth. Always have to go by a person's actions, not about what they say. Yeah. No way. Go by with the actions they've made. Then you find out what the real person is about. And we're seeing that firsthand. Oh, a lot of talk, it all sounds very nice, I've heard it all before, but then the next day their actions is something completely the opposite of what they said. Biden, Netanyahu, all of them.
So
Blinken.
So the only the way to create just and peaceful and beautiful world is to change it. To change all the political system, to revise international relationship, to reform UN.
UN for sure.
And
but
actually, the creation of BRICS, the actions of BRICS gives me some hope.
In a perfect world, it sounds wonderful, Akmaral, but boy, I don't see those things happening. I don't see it happening in my lifetime. Nah. Sorry. You remain optimistic. I have to not remain pessimistic, though you might feel that. But I'm just, I don't share that sense of optimism that you do. Yeah. But it brings us back to the very first 2 minutes of our first talk. Back to that, that balance, right, between man and woman. But yeah,
between the superpowers
and the rest.
The rest, between the political systems.
Yeah, there is no balance at the moment. Absolutely none, and this is very dangerous. Yeah. So should we end
Comes
with back
that?
To the doomsday clock, and it's certainly getting closer to the hour of 12.
No, I believe that of course it will take time, but I believe in humans' conscious.
Yeah.
I believe that people like you, me, all our friends around the world.
Yeah,
we can do even discussing, even talking about these things.
Exactly. It's just like my friend from New York said.
Yeah.
She doesn't agree with everything I said, but she wants to listen. She wants to understand. And it was said perfectly from her, is that I wish, or from my answer, I wish that everyone felt the same way as you do. Because this is how it's like us sitting here discussing these things. Of course, you and I, as much as we agree on a lot of things, there's no way we can agree on everything. It's not possible. We're different people from different cultures, from different background, different whatever.
With different part of the world.
Yes. And so, but this is how things get solved, by listening to each other and understanding your feelings as well as mine. And unfortunately, the leaders need to follow in our footstep and need to sit down just like as we are and listen to each other without getting crazy and emotional and screaming and yelling. It's like little kids in the classroom. It's like kindergarten, the way they're acting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unbelievable. And we are the ones that suffer.
Yeah, exactly.
In the end. Yeah, we are the ones that will suffer. So there is hope. Yeah, we keep working on it.
Let's stop here with some like blink of the
Yes, yes.
hope.
Yes, for sure.
And of course, I ask you, all my audience, our audience, to like our videos, our talks, and to share your opinion.
Please.
And of course,
your opinions are very much needed.
Yes. And subscribe, of course, and
Yeah.
like it.
You bet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.